What's up, guys? It's Waz and CJ here. Welcome back to the Embrace the Chase podcast, episode 2, where the chase is an opportunity every day to create, change, and go after a dream. Thanks for tuning in.
Here we go. This is all right. We've been in shambles for the past 30 minutes.
Yeah, so welcome to episode 2.
Vanessa Hudgens is engaged.
That just makes me sad that you just told me that right now.
Every 2000s kid, boy, is crying.
I'm sad.
Maybe girls too. Like, I don't know. I'm crying on the inside. I'm dying. I think that was every guy's first crush in elementary school.
No, it was, because I just said in my interview questions to the team that Zac Efron would play me in a movie.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, but Gavin kind of put the wrong photo that I was thinking.
Were you going more like beach bod,
long
hair?
No, not beach bod.
Okay.
I was mostly going for East High Wildcats.
Okay. Long flow, Bieber cut,
Yeah.
get your head in the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said he could play every role.
He can. So for those of you that don't know, our pitching staff, we are doing these things where once a week in our team meetings, we have these questionnaires that we filled out, and we have to go up and our coach like reads through them. One of the questions is, who would play you in a movie? So, he was Zac Efron. I haven't gone yet, so mine will remain unnamed. But who knows? Maybe next week, when this podcast comes out, I will have gone, and then I'll just look stupid for not saying it. But who knows?
So the question for you guys to think about this week is, who would play you in a movie?
Yeah. Let us know in the comments, which we have fixed finally. Last week, we were a kid's YouTube account on accident. And you couldn't leave comments.
This episode's still for kids, but...
Yes, yeah,
you know
kid-friendly. It's G. Nothing's rated G anymore, man.
No, it's really not.
Like, when we were growing up, like, everything was G for kids, but now PG is the standard. I'm good at it.
I mean, G is what? Not even
Disney
Disney Channel.
Yeah.
It's Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and Blue's Clues.
Good shows. Quality.
Teletubbies.
We need to get on track here. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome back to episode 2. So when this podcast comes out on Wednesday, it'll be the 15th of February, which means 2 days away from opening day.
Yeah.
3 days from start day for you.
Yeah, started the 2023 college baseball season.
Yeah. Crazy. It's here.
Yeah, just think about it. We were trying to wake up for a 6 a.m. lift in August. And now we're...
Well, some of us were trying. So
hey, that's on me.
Others were struggling.
One time. You know who you are if you were struggling. Ouch. Just said that. Oh, well.
Yeah, those morning lifts were brutal. I was terrified. I'd wake up in the middle of the night freaking out. If you're a student athlete or any athlete and you have to be up for a team lift in the morning, it can be a struggle. Mm-hmm. Even if you love lifting, which I think most of us do, if you don't, like, that stinks. But it can be kind of brutal and scary.
Yeah.
You know, there's like panic attacks in the middle of the night where like you jump up thinking your alarm hasn't gone off and you've overslept. One of the worst possible feelings ever.
I still do that.
Yeah, dude. I'm a senior in college and had morning lift for the past 3 years, and I still do it.
I mean, speaking from experience, once you miss one time, which kind of sucked, it happens to you every night without you even thinking about it. Yeah, even on the weekend.
That's
yeah,
not good for the sleep pattern, that's for sure.
No, it's not good for the program either.
All you Whoop boys out there that tracking your sleep.
Yeah,
you waking up for thinking you might miss lift. It's gonna affect that recovery.
Sucks. No, but speaking of 2 days from now, not 2 days from now. Damn, I did it again.
We had this whole conversation literally 10 minutes ago about how we can't figure out how to word this podcast because like we're filming on Thursday. What is today? The 9th?
The 9th.
And it won't come out until the 15th. And so when it comes
out...
Today
is the 15th.
Yeah. when you're hearing this.
Yes.
We've been on this way too much. Like it kind of goes to show like where our minds are all the time.
I'm in
like,
shambles right now.
Yeah, like mental. I can't say it. Like
my mental capacity is just not there right now.
Yeah.
But
we got it. It's gonna be okay.
When this comes out, it's the 15th. 2 days, it's the 17th.
Yes.
And I am really, really excited. I've been itching for this to come for a while. Like this season, I think we've all been waiting for, regarding offensively, staff-wise, coaching staff-wise, schedule-wise, travel-wise, opportunity-wise. I think it's just all there.
I think
but okay, I want to explain this real quick. I told someone the other day that in my eyes we already won, like, the national championship. And they go, how? Why? And I just said, well, that just should be the mindset. We just have to execute it.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. I like that.
Like, I'm not saying we already won,
Yeah.
But like, I'm just saying like
you should be picturing yourself there and like, all right, what do I have to do every single day to work up to that?
Like, I feel like the first thought you wake up with should be 5 letters. OMAHA. Omaha.
I'm surprised you got that first try.
Me too.
That was good, dude. All right. Spelling bee champ right here.
Yep.
Fifth grade, I'm excited. I did horrible in the spelling bee. That was one of my biggest moments.
I did pretty good in the spelling bee. I failed the math bee.
I don't even want to know what that is.
6 by 6 equals 36, and I failed to get that.
The fact that you said 6 by 6 too.
It's been a long week. But no, I'm excited. I can't wait. For game 1.
Yeah, I think
hopefully the fans will be there.
Oh yeah, I think they will be. I think the thing about opening day is there's so much anticipation. That's like the one word is what you talked about is all the thoughts about, all right, what's traveling going to be like? We go to some cool states. Like I've never been to Cali, Louisiana, Arizona. I've never been to those places. Like for me, like that's on my mind. You got, all right, well, we play this team here in the year. We play this team here. Like we go to Virginia. We'll be going to Cal Bab. Like
we go to Duke. We go to UNC too.
Yeah, and it's like, oh man, like I can't wait. And then you also have the expectations of like your own stats. It's like, all right, like I've been working so hard on this. Like it's time to see it. I've been playing really well in the scrimmages, or I haven't been playing well in the scrimmages. Like it's time to flip the script.
Yeah,
because like that's kind of how I've been mentally in the scrimmages. Like I've been struggling a little bit, but I've been facing the same guys over and over again. And it's like, all right, man, like this weekend, we got the last weekend before, flip the script, clean it, let's roll, man. Like, let's get ready. And that anticipation of opening day is one of the greatest things ever. Like, you won't feel that the rest of the year until the playoffs.
No, you won't, because it's just a grind every day. And it's not boring, but it gets boring.
It can get monotonous, but like,
and you have to figure out how to wake up every day and find like why, like, you go to the field, why you're waking up, like why you're here.
Yeah. And
I feel like that's just the biggest piece in the season is just figuring that out.
Yeah, I think that
especially as a team.
Yes. And one of the biggest things is with how monotonous the practices and everything get, especially at this time between winter break and the season, is, man, like, if you really love it, like, if you love the game, not even if you're good at the game, if you truly love the game, like, you love that, though. Like, you love the reps over and over again. You love coming to the ballpark every day and be like, all right, I'm like, we'll work on this. Let's see what this is doing today. Like, let me learn something here. Because, I mean, that's what it is. And, like, not even, like, college ball to pro ball. Like, pro ball is even more of the monotony. Like, you're showing up every single day for hours and hours and hours. You're just playing every day and traveling like crazy. Like, college, we get a little bit of luxury. Like, oh, you have off days here. You have, like, days between games where you can kind of, like, practice and do it's just different.
But is an off day really an off day?
Depends on the guy. Like, we were kind of discussing this earlier. Coach Miles, our pitching coach here, was telling us like, hey, like take your off days, like use them, because like those are big separators, especially towards the end of the year. And I think younger me um, didn't really utilize the off days in the right way. I think I was like, more is more, not less can be more. And actually, more isn't more. And like, I think Gavin Wayman
He said
one
the
time,
other day, more is more.
better is better,
Better is
more is
better.
more. Like there is a difference. Like just because you're doing more work doesn't mean you're
better.
actually getting better or doing the right thing. And I think younger me was just like more. Like the more swings I take every single day, the more times I throw, like it'll get better. When in reality is like sometimes your body just needs to be taken care of. Sometimes we talk about with pitchers, like you have to move efficiently. Well, if your body and like your tissues, like if soft tissues, if stuff isn't like functioning efficiently, like you're not going to perform as well. But if you have those off days and you're a guy that needs rest and needs recovery, and there's like hydration, nutrition, like cupping, whatever it is, like you take those days and utilize them, they stack up throughout the year, because I mean the games stack up too. Where some guys, they need that. If you're not pitching a whole lot, if you're not hitting a whole lot, like if you're not doing this or that, you need those days to continue working. Like maybe you're a guy that's really hot at the plate and you want to see some machine balls because you're feeling it, you know?
But you have to take a step back. Even if you're 17 for 17 at the plate.
That would be a nice weekend.
That's
probably National Player of the Week.
You would think. But some riders are biased.
Unless you don't have bombs. You don't have bombs.
No.
They're all right. Poll. Put another comment section.
Yep.
If you go 17 for 17 with all singles, will you be National Player of the Week?
It depends.
I didn't think it depends on the league.
Depends on the league. Depends on. I mean, you're batting 1,000 on the weekend.
It's pretty freaking good.
And 17 at bats means you're outscoring every team by 10 runs.
Yeah. Fair.
But are your singles just regular singles?
Or are they run producing, or are you scoring runs?
Or do you have 17 RBIs?
Yeah. Man, can you imagine starting the year 17 for 17?
You know, your average really wouldn't go down unless
you put yourself in a great position.
No, you did. You're hitting 1,000. You're hitting 300 at the end of the season, no matter what.
Yeah. I think if you're a good enough hitter to be going 17 for 17 a weekend, like you're 300 anyway.
Man, it's more hits I got in a high school season. I'm kidding.
We're going to leave that part out because that's...
Hey, it was COVID season.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that.
But speaking about the physical part of the season, there's also the other part of the season that nobody really talks about, like as a whole, and that nobody like really focuses on, other than maybe like not really anybody. Like people talk about it, but they really don't like talk about it. That's just like the mental health aspect.
Yeah. There's kind of a stigma behind it.
No, there really is, especially with student athletes and stuff like that. Like even with like non-student athletes, like it's still there. And I'm not like trying to separate the two, but I mean sometimes you have to.
It's a different lifestyle.
It's a different lifestyle. Like I'm not gonna step on anybody's toes, or try to at least, but like with athletes, I mean the outsiders don't really know what goes on.
Yeah.
Like
very different pressures.
I don't really
very different realities.
I don't even really think parents know what goes on behind the scenes, other than like if you talk to them about it. But even if you do talk to them about it, they still don't know everything. I don't think they ever will. Like no offense to those to parents.
Yeah, no.
But just I feel like that's just how it is.
I mean, even like athlete, non-athlete, there's like struggles that we all deal with that we're not going to tell our parents. There's
struggles not talk about,
like that other people just can't necessarily relate to.
No.
I think student athletes are honestly a pretty small knit community in college without even realizing. Like it doesn't matter to school, but like across the country, I think it's kind of like you learn about a student athlete, you meet someone, you kind of know something about them already.
Yeah, without even like meeting them. And I feel like that's where it needs to be focused on more. because most student athletes don't have the courage to speak up about it. I mean, the statistics, I mean, are right there in front of you if you actually read them. I mean, tough topic to talk about, but like you see athletes like Stanford goalie, top of the world, number one goal in the country, ranked team,
Mhm.
and she's just taking on like all that stress and all that anxiety by herself, and then ends her own life, and then leaves everybody with questions.
Yeah.
Same with Ryan Helinski.
Oh yeah.
Ryan Helinski's brother, Tyler, Washington State. I feel like that was that was one of the like first ones.
That
Like
was the first national scene. Like,
that was the first national one talked about. I
yeah.
mean, Ryan went to school down the street from me, so it was kind of like in our area, like kind of prevalent. Um, but like it was just like there was just no answers
Mm-hmm.
to why like he ended it. Like
Yeah.
I kind of want to know, like before we go on with this, I kind of want to know throughout the season like how like you channel that and how you like like navigate like your own like mental health, like what do you do to stay like centered?
Yeah. And you know what is, I think it's a topic that everyone can relate to in one way or another. Student athlete, not student
Mm-hmm.
athlete, doesn't really matter. I think everyone can relate to this.
And it's a hard topic to talk about, but I
Very
feel like
tough.
it needs to be exposed.
Yeah, and I think we all deal with it different ways. We all have our own insecurities, biases, things that are hurting us,
Mm-hmm.
like things that we run to. Uh, and a perfect example for me and like my personal
Mm-hmm.
experience is my freshman year at state.
Mm-hmm.
Like I grew up an NC State fan. It's the only place I ever wanted to go when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And I get there and I was hurt. And like, first off, the pressure is within your own, like what your own pressures you put on yourself are there.
Mm-hmm.
The pressures that the program puts on you, not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily state, but just like any program, like
Mm-hmm.
wherever team you're at. And then let alone the outside pressures, family, friends, student body, the school, the media, like at big time schools. These are real factors and they all just compile on one another. But anyway, going back to my freshman year, um, like the expectations I put on myself and the stresses I had with being hurt, rehabbing, all these different things, making new friends in a new environment, college for the first time. Because like, let alone that, like you're adjusting to a new life,
Mm-hmm.
completely out of the realm of reality that you've
Mm-hmm.
ever had. But I had so much anxiety and I was so depressed and like didn't know what that was. Like I would consider myself a pretty like joyful person.
Yeah.
Um, I think like happiness isn't the right word because like happiness is pretty fleeting, but like joy is something that like you can kind of choose day to day. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what, like things may not be going my way, but like I'm gonna find the beauty in it. And like, so like, I'd say I'm a pretty joyful person overall,
Mm-hmm.
but man, that freshman year was tough.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember the perfect example is I went and I got a cat. When I got back before the season, I got a cat and wasn't allowed in my apartment, but like whatever. He's a cute little kitten, named him Rambo. So sweet. I was like a little dad. I was taking pictures of him, stuff, whatever. Um, but like it was kind of a joke, like, oh man, like I want a cat, like I got it, and like it'll be fun. Like the reality was is like I felt so alone and so like
Mm-hmm.
lost that for like that was just what I was like. I needed something that was gonna comfort me. And it seems really, really dumb, but it shouldn't be.
It's not
Like
dumb.
that was the reality. The reality was is like I felt so alone and scared and vulnerable that like I went and got a cat. And I got a cat and he actually did help. Like he was a cool cat,
Do you still have them?
but no, I had to give him away because then COVID hit and it was a mess. But I remember the first day after I got him, I left class. I had a philosophy class at 8 a.m. and I come back. I didn't have anything until practice at noon. So I came back to my apartment, and I remember calling Gracie, and I was sitting on the stairwell of my apartment, like bawling my eyes out. And I was like, I was telling her, I was like, I can't do this. Like, I don't know why I got this freaking cat. Like, this was so stupid of me. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I can't take care of it. I can't even take care of it, like myself. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I was like, I was all my class. I was looking at places I could drop this cat off at. I had just gotten it the day before. Um, but she kind of walked me through it, and she was like, calm me down. Um, but I think that was kind of the reality hit for me. It was like, it's not the cat at all. Like,
It's
the
you.
cat's not the problem. Nothing's the problem. Like, I just like the cat was like the tip, like is
The
what
tip of
put
the
me
iceberg.
over. Like the cat was the realization that like, oh my gosh, I actually am depressed. I actually like anxiety is a real thing, and that's okay. But I need to get help, and I have a problem.
Mhm.
Like I'm struggling, and I think when I broke down, I finally was like, all right, it's okay to recognize what's going on right now. Like it's okay for me to be vulnerable and allow myself to feel these things. I think for so long, especially with guys, we can't be vulnerable. Like we're so scared of being vulnerable with each other and with people that we build up these walls and we like kind of contain all of our
Mhm.
feelings until it just overflows into a situation like that. Where luckily I can just call up my girlfriend and she's super sweet and like could talk with me and like could be very open and honest. But like if I didn't have that, or I mean, I was 2 months deeper into the hole I was in.
Mhm.
I mean, there's no telling,
Mhm.
and which is super super sad to think about where I was and other people and where they're at, and people that have it so much worse than I do. Like I think I was fortunate to where I had a lot of really good friends and a lot of people who cared deeply about me. My sister was in the city, so like I started going and seeing her a lot. But not everybody has that. Like in
Mhm.
your case, you're across the country.
Mhm.
Like if I got to see my sister and my girlfriend, but like you don't have those connections here. Um, so it was a big, big moment of kind of just opening up and realizing I'm not okay, and that's okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, being not okay is okay. It's a cliche statement,
Mhm.
but it's probably one of the most important ones to understand. So when you said you went and got help, other than your sister and stuff like that, what'd you do? Like, where'd you go? Who'd you go to?
Well, for
Because all you
me,
needed, sometimes you just need someone to listen.
I think I got very lucky. Was COVID hit?
Then you got to go back home.
Yes, and I got to go back home and be with my family, and we went to the beach a ton.
Hmm.
And I think for me, I've always found peace and rest in nature.
Hmm.
Um, and so I think for me, going to the beach and being on the boat and like fishing and just being outdoors a ton. Because when COVID hit, like everybody was outdoors, man.
Hmm.
It was crazy. But I think being able to do that really just calmed me down and settled me. But also, I mean, you know it, like my faith is a big part of my life.
Hmm.
And I think at that point, I turned to God and I was just like, man, like I am broken and you can have it all because um, I think I realized that it was bigger than me. Like I was facing a problem that I could not handle on my
Hmm.
own. And for a lot of my life in high school, like I never really had that like anxiety, depression, like pushback.
Hmm.
Like I was always the happy kid walking around school, joking
Hmm.
around. Like I was the big man on campus, like whatever.
Hmm.
But then I get there and like all this stuff starts piling on me and I had no clue what to do.
When you go from here to here,
Yeah. And I think that
like
like the hills
spiritually,
and valleys
physically,
are unreal.
mentally, like
Hmm.
socially,
Yeah.
it's just boom.
Yeah.
And then you just need to figure out a way to climb
100%,
out of
dude.
it.
And I think even in my life right now, I kind of got hit with some stuff last fall and like kind of was back into that
Okay.
depressed state. And eventually I just like broke down. I was like, all right, God, like you worked for me last time. Like you've been there by
Help
my
me out
side all the
again.
way. Like I give it to you, man, because
Hmm.
this is way too big for me to control.
Hmm.
And I get that. Like not everybody's like that. Not
Hmm.
everybody, um, like religion's not their thing or whatnot. But like for me, and I would love for everybody to experience it. Like Jesus, man, like he makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever want to talk about it, I'd love to, because like the difference in my life has been unreal. That's not your thing. That's cool. We don't even have to talk directly about Jesus, but like I'd love to share what I've learned. But I think that everybody's on their own journey, and I think that some people need to seek like medical help. They need to seek therapists and whatnot. For me, I was in a position where, hey, like I'm at a point where just turn to God and like give it all to Him, lay it at His feet. And I always think that's the best thing to do. But it also makes a big difference being surrounded by people that can love on you and feel like they're there for a purpose for you.
I feel like that's what everybody needs is just people, but like not, you know what I mean? Not just any people, but like people that like care about you, people that are willing to listen. And it doesn't even have to be like your family or your friends. Like it could just be someone random on any given day.
Yeah.
That just sits somewhere and just listens.
Yeah.
Like that. Honestly, that's like I've learned to do that over the like my course in college is just like I had an incident, and it wasn't about me. I had an incident about one of my friends on campus. He's actually on our team, but I'm not going to name names. Sitting alone, and I was just like, I kind of sensed, you know, like I've been in that situation before, and I don't even know what it was, like what's on his mind or what could be, until I was like, I'm gonna go sit down and be like, hey, like, what's up, man?
Yeah.
And like, I just listened, and then a week later, he goes, dude, that like, thank you, like that, like no one's ever just sat there and like, listen, like I didn't even give my input, until he asked me to, and like that kind of like I feel like I kind of, based on my experiences, I felt that like that was a big step.
Yeah.
And like realizing that. But no, just like you, freshman year of college, but going back, like depression and stuff and mental health stuff like hit me in middle school for reasons that don't need to be talked about. And then high school kind of hit. High school was high school, kind of went away. I mean, but it never goes away. It just was kind of just like
He was pushed
it
down.
was just kind of pushed away because I mean, it wasn't really focused on because I was at school every day. I was around friends. And then once I got to being alone again, like in Kansas, not knowing anybody, I kind of was fine. I was like kind of homesick, and then it kind of just spiraled from there. Because I'm going to talk about this later, but in November, one of my best friends and high school teammates took his own life, which like we talked every day about it, and I knew he was struggling. But like not being able to do anything about it because I wasn't there. Was just like that kind of broke me. And then like the school was so like on top of it. Like once I told my coach about it, like I went home for the funeral, but once I got back, like the the athletic department was like, I don't know what you need. I don't know what you want to do. I don't know how you're feeling, but can you come in one day and talk to somebody just so that we know you're okay?
Yeah.
And like for that whole time, because it was COVID, it was that weird COVID, like long break of when we went home for Thanksgiving. You know what I'm talking about? We went home for Thanksgiving and never like didn't go back until January because they didn't want us back on campus. So I didn't really grieve, like go through the process because I just went home and then had to get ready for the season. So I kind of just was like in shock, but I was just like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want I mean, I was with my family, but like,
Yeah.
just push that to the side. But when I got back, like, talking to somebody, shout out Zach, kind of saved my life in a way. Um, I met with him once or twice a week for 6 months, and like, he finally got me to break down one time that like I didn't know I needed, and for 15 minutes, I didn't say a single word, and I just cried. Like, it was like man to man, like I feel like just everyone kind of needs to experience that when, say, you lose someone, or say you're trying, or you're going through something, like you went through your own breakdown and you kind of realized that you were at the bottom.
Yeah.
But once I broke down, I kind of realized I was at the bottom, and I was just swimming in a pool of water with bricks at my feet that I couldn't come up. But once that happened, like the stones like on my feet just kind of just were gone, and I kind of figured out my way up. And then like I went back home and I was fine. Then I came back out here. I came here and I was just like kind of hit me again because I was alone again.
Yeah.
And then I like found, even my freshman year, I found ways to like escape. You know what I mean? Like, kind of not really cope, but kind of find different things that like help with the mental side. Like, I went on drives, went on walks. I started reading,
Yeah.
started journaling. And then I get home, still do that, completely fine, come back out here. I'm off that. And then I see a difference. And then started listening to podcasts and starting to, I mean, be happy. Like, I figured out a way to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Not really like happy, but more so content. And coming to the field every day, seeing people, talking to the staff, talking to everybody, just kind of like put me in a mental state where I'm comfortable. Because I don't think you got to be uncomfortable. You got to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now I'm like comfortable in a way, like I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like, when I when you go through that like period of time where your mental health is just on rock bottom, and you figure out ways to come back up, I feel like you can sense it. Like, do you ever have that like feeling, like where you can feel like, oh no,
Yeah.
like
It's happening. Yeah.
Like that sounded really sarcastic, but that's just how it is in my head.
Yeah.
Like
it's like slow.
Like, you
like
wake
for
up.
some reason one day.
No,
it's just
you
like,
wake up one day and you're like, oh
gosh.
no.
Yeah.
Like, I had that like the other week. Like, I was like, it's not happening again, is it?
Mm.
And then like I found like the middle ground where I was like, oh, I'm good.
Mm.
Like, I just had to find something in my day, like a positive. And then like I was just like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm okay. But like, I feel like that's where it's not like focused on a lot, because I mean, any day of any week of any year could be like the day
Mm-hmm.
that where you just, not saying you're gonna do it, like you know what I'm like talking about, like, not saying you're gonna do it, but you're gonna have thoughts.
Yeah.
And I feel like being a student athlete and going through the season, like, there's a lot of those days.
Mm.
Like, and just based on performance wise.
Yeah, and well, dude, the thing with performance, man, is like, people will be like, man, like, stop chasing the numbers, like, stop putting so much pressure. It's like, the reality is like, as a player, you're just a number unless you put up numbers.
You're not wrong.
And like, if you want to go to the next level, like, there's certain criteria, like, there's boxes you have to check in a way.
You can't just go out there and play. Like, you have to go out there and, oh, did that.
Yeah.
Did that. did that. But
Which
that's
sucks,
every
but-
single day.
Yeah.
And that's just not on the field. That's
Mhm.
just every time you wake up, you have to check those boxes.
Yeah. And dude, I like the thing about it is we care. And people are, stop caring about the results. It's like, well, like it means something to me. And so you just saying you taking that away from me by saying like the results don't matter, like the results will come, like this will take care of itself, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, I get that, but that's hard for me to like process right now. Like you're just saying stuff that I already know, but like it does matter to me. And like I care. And like one of the most frustrating things, dude, is when you're struggling and people are like, oh, just keep grinding through it, or like it'll all be fine.
Like, dude, I am.
Keep working. It's like, yes, like I get that. And like that doesn't help me right now. Like right now, like it hurts. And like I'm mad and I'm feeling all these things, and like you just saying it'll be okay does nothing for me except for make me more like anxious or make me more frustrated. Like help me. And like I think a lot of times we don't know how to say like, okay, yes, but like what do you see? Help me then. Like what, and I think as like outsiders, so like say that's you right now, I think a lot of times we don't do a good job as teammates of, and I'm not saying like our team specifically or anything. I'm just saying like in general, an overarching theme.
Just like checking in.
People don't check in and be like, hey man, like I've noticed this about you. Like let's go out to lunch, let's talk. Or like, hey man, like,
or just a simple, hey, are you good?
Yeah. And
like, how's your day going?
Hey bro, like I noticed this, and like I know like that's a little different. So like let's walk through this. Or say like even if it's a performance thing, be like, hey Waz, like I noticed this about your mechanics, like it's gonna be okay. Now there's a time and a place. Like obviously if you just gave up a 3-run home run, you come in, you gotta take it out of the game. That's not a place to do it. But we become best friends on the field, and we know each other's tendencies, we know each other's personalities, we know what each other are gonna do day to day.
And that's like honestly without even watching.
Yeah.
Like because you're just there, you're just you're not even a comfortable like setting, but you're just there every day, and you're just like kind of your eyes are just there.
Yeah.
So you're
you're
just sensing it, you're feeling it, and you already know.
Yeah.
Like what you're looking for, not even what you're looking for, but like what you're paying attention to. But speaking about what you just said, like checking in and stuff like that, I feel like that's where, like, it's not a fine line, but I feel like that's where people, like, just in general, just don't understand. Is that like when you ask how my day was and I go terrible,
the conversation doesn't just stop there.
No.
Like
I feel like the conversation should keep going.
Yeah.
But we're so like wired to say I'm fine because you feel like the other person just doesn't want to listen.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel that.
But there's some people that you know that it will actually listen, but it takes a while to figure out who those people are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I kind of used to be that person, but now since I went through my own stuff and seen some stuff, now I'm like, dude, you can tell me anything you want. Like, I'll be a soundboard. I will be mute. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Just tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where, like, being here is kind of a blessing. Not that everybody agrees, but when I committed here, they said you aren't just a number. And I feel like that still rings true.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they check in every day.
Yeah. They care.
Like, not necessarily a check-in, but like just a like, hey, like
a simple conversation.
Yeah, man. Like you walk by, like, hey, what's up? Like, open door, like the door's not closed. Yeah. Like, I mean, you walk by the office every day. I mean, sometimes they're in there, sometimes they're not. But you could just walk in and be like, hey, what's up? Like, I feel like that's more of like a so-called check-in, where like
you feel noticed.
Like you're not shut out. You're not just a player. I mean, then again, when it comes to season, like you are just a number if you don't put up numbers. But
It's
That's
people's
where
jobs,
it's people's
but
jobs, but that's where the performance base comes in. And you were saying something about like putting pressure on yourself and stuff like that because of
yeah,
results. And speaking of results, like I feel like especially like last couple weeks, like it's called like detaching from results. Like I feel like once I figured that out, that like once I go out there, what's done is done.
yeah,
Like what's done is done, and I feel like you know, um, I don't know how to word this, but like I don't care. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like I care, but once it's done.
yeah. Leave
Like
it at the field.
that's where I feel like the performance based mental health for a student athlete, there's a line. And once you figure out that line, once you figure out that middle ground of not taking it home with you
Mm-hmm.
and leaving it wherever you're at, whatever field you're at, whatever university you're at, whatever sport you play, once you figure that out, you'll be so much better off. Because I remember like my senior year, my senior year of high school, I put so much pressure on myself. My first two starts, I went 0-2, and it wasn't my fault.
Yeah,
And I hate to say this, but after the second loss, I was on my floor crying for no reason.
yeah,
Like, who cares? You lost the game. It's a game.
yeah,
And that's what I think people don't understand is that it's not just a game, but in reality it is. And I feel like we as student athletes also need to understand that.
mm-hmm.
But it's like life. That's
Yeah.
all we know. And if we suck at life, our
Who
life,
are we?
yeah, like it's once you realize that your sport's not your identity, I feel like, and you can detach from your two separate lives
Yeah,
as a person and as an athlete, you'll be so much better off. And me and my dad came in and walked in. He goes, "What are you doing?" And like I kind of just went, like, I don't know. And then when I got to college my freshman year, like I kind of realized that like no, he was right. Like, what are you doing?
yeah,
Like, it doesn't matter. I'm still gonna pitch. Like, it doesn't matter if I give 4 runs in 1 inning. Not my career's not over.
yeah.
And you can cry when your career's over, but 4 runs is 4 runs. Like, I sucked. Oh well.
Learn from it. Get better.
Don't dwell on it because once you dwell on it, take it. That's when you end up taking it home.
And the problem with that is like you take it home, other people are going to be affected. Your relationships are going to be affected.
Mm-hmm.
Your outlook on people and your life is going to be affected.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not a way to live. It's tough. I've been
No.
there. I've really struggled with taking it home and allowing my anger or my
Mm-hmm.
frustrations to come out. And like it takes a toll on the people around you,
Mm-hmm.
let alone yourself, which is sad because it's always the people that care so much about, like how much you care about your sport. They
Mm-hmm.
care more about you than you care about your sport, and you
Mm-hmm.
care more about them than you do your sport. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, so when you take it home, it's just, I think it's almost like a kind of humbling in a way. Once
Mm-hmm.
you start realizing it, it's like, wow, like man, I have an impact
Mm-hmm.
bigger than just the field. And like I have an impact on my friends, my family, my girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
my like whoever, my community. Um, and what attaches to that is what you believe,
Mm-hmm.
like the belief system you have when you're out and you act a certain way towards people, and when you're treating them a certain way, whether it's out of anger from a game, frustration, even joy, happiness, whatever, like people associate with what you put out there for like what you stand for. They start associating those lashing out, those actions, those whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
good or bad, with those beliefs. So when you kind of like have a reality check in a way of like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, like I've been treating this person that means this much to me like this. That's tough, dude. And it is a big deep breath moment, if that makes sense, where it's like, okay, like baseball only lasts so long. So like I don't want to be frustrated at it right
No.
now. Like I want to take advantage of every moment.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be at the field with the boys. I want to be joking up, having a good time.
Yeah, I feel like if you're too serious, you're just not gonna have
Yeah.
a good experience. I mean, I feel like sometimes I check myself and I know that I am,
Mm-hmm.
but like it's only on certain days,
Yeah.
and I know you kind of have to figure out when to turn it on and when to turn it off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like start days, I feel like are the only days where I'm serious.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, like I'm good. Like even like 15 minutes on the field, like I'm serious about this.
Yeah.
I'm serious about this. Like everything else is just like, oh well.
Well, even moment to moment, dude. Like I'll be out there at the field, and we'll be like when we're throwing the football around, playing
Hmm.
hacky sack before we're over on the side. Like we're joking around, busting
Hmm.
up, having a good time, singing. I'll even like we go through stretch, joking around,
Yeah.
having a good time. Even like the start of throwing.
Yeah.
But like when I go out to do my drills,
Hmm.
it's like boom.
And
It's
it's
like okay,
simply just
like
10
and there's
minutes.
one there's like that first time I kind of like make a mark in the turf, and as soon as I put my foot in, I'm like okay, like get my work in.
Hmm.
And then the rest of the throwing time, like my whole thing is like I want to be loose and an athlete.
Hmm.
It's like then like I'm out there dancing still while we're doing those
Yeah.
throws, but then it's like we come back in, it's like draw that line again from my flat ground. As soon as my
Hmm.
foot goes down, boom, centered. And like there's one goal, there's one thing I'm doing, and like that's learning and like growing and
Hmm.
competing. Um, so I think it plays into like who you are. Like some guys are different. Some guys have from the moment they step outside the
Hmm.
locker room, they have to be like cold stone face, no joking around, and that works for them. Other guys like they're never serious. Like the only time they're serious is on the game mound, and even then they may still be a little clumsy out there. But
Hmm.
that's what works for them, and I think you kind of have to find your identity.
I feel like what go adding on to what you're saying, like your sport and like say you're a pitcher like us, that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the end of the day, going home, it's not who I am.
Yeah.
Like in those 3 hours, that's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of like going home and like taking it home with you, like I don't even talk about baseball. I don't even want to talk about baseball. Like I want to watch it,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't want to talk about it. Like especially like in high school, like I brought every game home with me, and me and my dad talked about it for like an hour. But then when I got to college, I'm like, Dad, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like I'll give you the rundown, and now it's like our 5 minute rule. Like 5 minutes to talk about it, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't even ask about it. Like I'm not gonna tell you. If you really want to know, look at the box score. But I feel like that's what's like helped me. Like even when I was home last year, like you just sat down 5 minutes, talked about it, done.
Yeah.
Or like we talked in the parking lot, and when I got home, it was done.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It matters for those 3 hours, and it matters when you're at the field.
See, it's funny because at the field, dude, like I want to get ripped into.
No, yeah,
Like it sounds weird.
I do too.
Like at the field as a pitcher, I like love when if I do something wrong, or not even wrong, if I'm not performing up to my standards,
Please tell me.
I want so bad to get ripped into because I respond to that.
I don't want to be
But
coddled.
like if you if I'm out in a classroom or something or at
Hmm.
home and you try to do that to me, I'll lose my mind and I won't pay attention.
I won't
So
even lose my
it's
mind.
like
I just won't even talk to you ever
I'll like,
again.
dude, it's like my personality of the field and like off the field can be very different in the ways I one like learn, the ways I listen.
Hmm.
It's wild, man. We're just different people.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is why we're here. I feel like now that like wanting to do this and doing this now, I feel like this is like an out now to where if I wanted to talk about it, I could talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Still don't want to, but I feel like I could.
Yeah.
And there's certain people where like I'll talk about the game with you, or I'll talk about my outing with you, or I'll talk about your outing. I don't care.
Yeah.
But like there's certain people where like I'm okay. Like I'll talk about it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But when someone that I don't want to talk about it with asks me, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I feel like that's just a double standard though. Um and I feel like that's what again, people who don't play the sport don't get. Like,
Yeah.
and it's always the people that don't play sports. How'd you do? Thanks for asking, but I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
Or
Get
it's
that.
like, all right, I did all right.
Yeah.
No, that was good. All right, bad or like all right, good.
Yeah. It's like, oh well, I gave up 5 earned runs with 8 hits and
And then
1
that's where you're
strikeout.
like,
And then you get in your own head, and then you're thinking about it again, which is no fault of theirs. Like that's not what we're saying at all.
no.
It's just an observation of our reality
Mhm.
and like our thoughts.
And speaking of reality, like when I go on Twitter and when I go on social media and see all these media outlets and stuff like that, like ripping into human beings,
Mm-hmm.
this is a whole mental health standpoint too. Like they're ripping into their livelihood and they haven't even touched a field, a court, a ball for a single second in their entire life, and they're trying to nitpick.
Yeah.
Like, okay, oh well, guy gave up 3 home runs in the World Series.
We're human.
Like, can't be perfect every time.
Yeah.
Like, you're not always. I don't know.
And
You're
I'm glad.
You're not always Clayton Kershaw or Justin Verlander
Well, even those guys,
or
dude. Like,
no, but you're not a Hall of Famer every time you
yeah.
go out and pitch. I mean, I know, sure as heck, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be, but I know I'm not every time.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what some people like. They're held to such a high expectation that if they don't meet it every single day, then oh, he's not working hard enough.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't care.
It only gets
Oh, he's complaining.
more magnified.
Oh, there's
the higher
something
you go.
going on in the locker room.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't like his coach. Oh, his relationship isn't going well. Maybe those all are true, but people blow it out of proportion and don't really know the real reason of what's happening. Maybe the guy just had a bad day.
But dude, it's a game. It doesn't matter what sport you're playing. Like, sometimes you just lose feel for stuff. Sometimes you're just in a rut. Sometimes, like, you have stressors and anxieties that no one else knows about.
And that you can't even like shake when you go out and play because they're that like inside of you, that on your mind. Yeah, so you're told to clear your mind. You're told to leave your other life at the field and or not no like leave your other life at home.
Yeah.
And bring your other life to the field. Like sometimes it's just not happening.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like,
and I feel like that's where the check-in comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
Like walk in the locker room, like even in our locker room, I can tell like if you're going through it,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're just having a bad day, or if you just don't want to be there. Like everybody has those days, but I feel like that's like just not in our locker room, but like not saying it like it needs to happen, like not saying that we're not good at it, but like just like in any capacity in any sport, I feel like the check-ins, the not necessarily looking out for each other, but like yeah, you look after your buddy when you go out, but like looking after your buddy like mentally.
Yeah.
I feel like that standpoint is very lacked on. And I feel like that needs to be talked about more because some of this stuff wouldn't happen if if it just takes one person to save a life.
Yeah. Well, dude, and I mean, even you talk about the check-ins
or a performance.
Yeah, yeah, and you talk about the check-ins. Like, dude, throughout college, I've lost my grandfather my freshman year, right before the season. I lost my cousin's suicide. I've lost a kid I grew up with going to Boy Scouts. Yes, I was a Boy Scout. Don't hate on me. It's not funny.
Respect for that though.
But I lost him to suicide. Both of those were in the middle of the season last year. No, I've missed 4 family member funerals in college. None of my teammates have ever known. None of my coaches have ever known. I've never said anything. I've missed 5 weddings of family members in college. I've never asked once to go because my life and my expectations baseball. And like I've kind of always joked around. I was like, man, like when I get married, no one's gonna go to my wedding, which I know isn't true.
Yeah,
but like
I'll be there.
And like, thank you, Oz. Of course. But like, and like, I'm not asking for a pity party. Like, I could have definitely like gone to those things if like, but the thing about it is like I not once did anyone, not any fault of their own, notice or know that I was going through that stuff. And part of me is like,
I feel like you hit it very well.
Like, I'll mask it. Like, I've gone through things and like no one will ever know because I can mask stuff very easily, which is a kind of a thing I need to work on. Like, I need to work on that. But like, I mean, shoot, dude. Like, if you look at my performance on the field last year, beginning of the season, 1 family member death, numbers are bad. 6 straight outings to zeros. You can just
see it.
And then last 3 outings, lost a friend. Last 3 outings are really bad.
I feel like you can just like, not even like in actions and not even in like how you carry yourself, but I feel like it just like in your like in any athlete's performance, you could kind of see like, oh, that stretch he was doing well.
If
this stretch something
there's always something. There's always signs.
Something have had to happen, and that's what the media focuses on. But they get it all wrong, and that's what other people focus on, outsiders focus on, but they don't know why you're sucking.
Life is hard, man. Like, life is really
hard.
Tough.
The game is hard. I mean, we learned that the other day, like at our first pitch dinner with Mike Schilt. Like, yeah, Mom and Dad, the game's hard. Yeah, Susan, the game's hard. Yeah, Coach Miller, the game's hard. But outsiders don't know.
Yeah.
They think it's so easy until they do it.
Yeah.
And it's just wild how easy and glamorous they think our lives are because we play a sport.
Yeah. Well, I guess moral of the story in like all this conversation is just check in on your friends. Check in on your level, because it never hurts to love on people ever. And I think in the locker room alone is a perfect example. Like, I'll just take freshmen. Like, I think like as an upperclassman, it is your duty, knowing what you've been through, to love on those freshmen, because you know how hard it is transitioning into college.
Oh, you do.
Like, whether you're a bench guy that's a senior, whether you're a guy that's never going to touch the field, and you're talking to a freshman who's going to play every day, does not matter. It doesn't matter if you're the star player as an upperclassman who's going to get drafted in the first round, and you're talking to a freshman who's on the verge of getting cut.
It doesn't matter what position you're in on the depth chart. You're human. And I feel like that's what I think people our age don't understand.
Well, even like outside of sports, man, like your classmates. It's funny.
You're totally right. Like, keep going on this topic. Like, you're like, I want to get into this.
Like, I was sitting in class the other day, and this guy walks in. Never like we've never had a conversation,
You
but
you
you could
rarely
just
ever do.
tell, man. And I was like, I felt awful because I could tell something was wrong, and like didn't say anything. And like I wish I had because like I could tell. But then I was talking to someone the other day and they were talking about like, man, like I can't even like pick up this cute girl that sits beside me in class and like well like see her more than as like a cute girl. Like
Ask her about
like
her day.
like she's probably battling stuff that none of us will ever know. She's probably going through things that she can mask really easily.
I feel like everybody does that
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like
We're scared.
in
We're scared to
society
admit our
now in society
imperfections.
nowadays you're scared to speak up and speak out
Mm-hmm.
because you're afraid to get judged
Yeah.
for what you're feeling mentally, and you're afraid to be judged on just anything about your life because social media is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not hating on social media, but like once you speak up about it, it's out there forever.
Yeah.
And then here goes the grapevine of, oh my God, Sally's gonna kill herself, or oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, Sally's gonna do this. Sally thinks this. Sally thinks that. Like your name's Sally. I didn't mean that, um, but you know,
Jane Doe. Jane Doe. There we go.
but you know what I mean. Like nobody wants to talk about how they are to other people because they're afraid of being judged. And judgment's a big, big thing right now.
we live in a society where we're trying to make it seem like we're okay with people's imperfections,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, individually, we're scared of our own
Mm-hmm.
imperfections. We're scared of other people's imperfections,
Mm-hmm.
which is really sad because we all have struggles. We all get punched in the face by life.
Mm-hmm.
And, but we have these expectations of others, of ourselves. The reality is, like, if you would stop, people love to be cared about.
Mm-hmm.
If you would stop and take 1 minute every day, you could make a big difference. And it could even make a big difference on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, an example like I'd like to use is like my faith. So I used to get so nervous about talking about it. Like I used to be like, they're gonna judge me, they're gonna make fun of me, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. The reality is like when you like genuinely believe something and like genuinely love on people, like people take notice. And one of my favorite lines is people don't need you to preach a sermon, they need you to live one. And when you live it, they can relate to that. Like that's something that I've tried to incorporate into my life is like if I just love on you and like care about you, you're gonna notice a difference. I'm gonna notice a difference in you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna notice a difference in me.
Mm-hmm.
And then like let's go from there. And like whether it's baseball, whether it's class, whether it's your hopes and dreams, whether it's depression that's killing you right now, like
Mm-hmm.
let's just talk about this. Like let's go after it. Like I want to grow deeper in you.
Mm-hmm.
I care. I don't even know you, but I want to get to know you. I think we're losing a lot of that.
And you know where, speaking of losing a lot of that, you know where I think we're losing it in? Not just like we're gonna take away the athletic side.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're losing it in the social aspect of things, sometimes the friend aspect, but I think the big picture is the relationship aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody wants to hear about another person's day.
Yeah, very selfish. Very. I wouldn't even say selfish. Very inward looking.
Yeah, and I feel like that's where, like in college, it's difficult, especially like this time of life, like 18 to 24.
Yeah.
Like they say they want it until they get it, and then when they get the real you, they
Mm-hmm.
run away.
Yeah.
But there's some people in life that don't run away, and those are the people that you need to keep,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean.
You can notice a difference in those people.
No, you
Like those
can.
people that want your flaws, your scars, your everything, your dreams, your nightmares, all that stuff. Like you can tell a difference in those people.
No, you can. And I feel like sometimes you, like on the other side of it, I do this a lot where I don't realize that they want it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that they want me for me as much as I want them for them. And that's where I feel like I get in trouble and say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing because I have a trouble time realizing it.
Yeah.
Because that's like how I feel.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where that just where I need to move past it because I'm like, no, you don't. You're just saying that.
Yeah.
Like you don't want you don't want this.
Yeah.
You don't want to deal with that. Like I mean, I don't even want to deal with that. But I feel like as a person, as a human, and as a man, I feel like just any like man, any human like needs to understand that like they matter.
Yeah.
Like even women, they matter. And sometimes you don't realize you matter as much as you do.
Yeah.
To people you that care about you. And I feel like that's where the flaws come in and your insecurities come in and you know what I mean?
Yeah. And dude, I like Reed just shouted you out on our group me, by the way.
What did
Um,
Reed say?
I can't say. Um,
I'll find out about later.
yeah. But um
I got it.
yeah, I went on a sidetrack. You just check it. I completely lost my train of thought. What were you saying?
About your insecurities and your flaws and like you
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, one thing that I have really, really, really tried recently is just saying I love you. And like, it's funny. John, my buddy John, was in
mm-hmm.
here, and as he was leaving, I was like, "All right, I love you, man." And like, I've been doing it with all my friends when I hang up on the phone. And guys never say I love you to each other. If you ever noticed that, so Gracie, girls always give each other presents on their birthday.
Oh, the comment section is
Always,
just filled.
always.
And
Guys
I
never,
don't cringe at it
yeah.
because I want the same thing.
Guys never give each other birthday presents. If you've ever noticed, like, I don't know when the last time one of my buddies has ever given me a present. I don't know when the last time I've given any of my buddies a present. Like, other than like little things, but like, and I think it's like, oh gosh, group me's blowing up, but it, like, something as simple as like saying I love you to someone
Mm-hmm.
can change their day. It can change their like I'll be weird about it too, dude. Like,
Mm-hmm.
random people that are in the locker room or something. We might not even be close buddies because the reality is there's a lot of us in the locker room. I'm closer with some guys than others.
Mm-hmm.
But when I see them and I leave, I'll just be like, "Hey man, love you," and they kind of like, "What?"
Yeah,
I'm
love
like,
you
it's
too,
okay,
bro.
but
Love
like,
you too, bro. Like
yeah,
I don't love you like that. I just love you, man.
yeah. Like, I love who you are. I love that I get to be here with you. Like, I love you for who you are, and I want to let you know that like I see
Yeah.
you.
I feel like those three words scare people,
Mm.
drive people away,
I don't think
or
you
get
can,
weirded out.
dude. People always say like, "I love you" is the most overused thing. I think it's underused, man.
Oh, it's
Like,
very
I
underused.
think that
I feel like it's underrated,
it's fair.
underused and underrated, and nobody uses it as much as they should.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I could say it all the time, I would. But to certain people, I know I can't,
Yeah,
and like, 'cause it's gonna scare them away.
yeah,
But like, I could say I love you, and it doesn't mean anything.
yeah,
Just love you, or I love you to the girl. Like that's what I'm saying. Like relationship, like speaking about relationships. Like if you say I love you, like they just are like, whoa, what?
mm-hmm.
Like No, not like that. Like maybe someday, but like I can't just like love you for you, like love you for who you
Yeah,
are. Like there's a difference between that and I love you.
yeah.
Like
There's a very that is one thing. Like I'll when I say I love you to my girlfriend,
yeah,
that's a lot different than when I say, "Hey man, love you,"
yeah,
because I would die for her. I would do anything for her. Not to say I wouldn't do anything for you.
yeah.
It's just
No, it's just
different.
different. Like
But like when I say love you, like I'm saying like I care about you.
yeah,
And like I hope you know that like I'm here.
hmm
Like when I tell you, hey Waz man, I love you, like I'm here. I'm for you all the time. Reed, stop texting the group chat right now, dude. Like it's
we're in the middle of
literally
something,
stop.
but it's very interesting, and I can't answer that right now.
Same with Braden. Golly,
I want to say what was said, but
we
this
can't.
can't be
We're a
said.
child's YouTube channel, so we can't do that.
We're in a serious conversation. I can't laugh. I
But
mean, I
anyway, well,
could.
like even with this conversation, I think like we've kind of hit a lot of points that we didn't even plan to.
No,
But I know you had a big thing that you wanted to
I
say.
do.
So why don't you get hitting that up?
Okay, I'll start off. So with the season coming up in a few days, and just based on the topic we talked about of just the whole entire mental health thing, I've been in the works with AFSP, which is American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and I mean you had a couple buddies. I had a friend that did it. Um, so I didn't think about doing. I thought about doing this for a while, and I want to say it again, but I can't. But my buddy Paul Skeens at LSU, he posted his campaign with Fields of Honor. That's like a military type thing where they pay for um, widows and kids scholarships and stuff like that. Um, but with my conversation with on the different side of things with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is that I'm pledging this year $5 for every strikeout. I'm gonna match that, um, and I feel like that's such like a big thing for me because we talked about earlier in the car as we were coming here. Um, there's a difference between playing towards something and playing for something,
Mm-hmm.
and like this campaign is called 31 World Strikeout Suicide, and I'm number 31 this year, and my best friend who was my high school teammate um, was number 31 in high school. So I feel like that campaign name. Me and my our buddy wrote a song about it. So that campaign name, like, kind of sits heavy with me, and I feel like that's just some way I can give back to spread awareness to something that I'm an advocate for and something that's not talked about a lot, like we were talking about. And if anybody who's listening, it's going to be on my Instagram um, when this drops. It's going to be on my Twitter. So if you want to do something good and maybe donate a few bucks to the cause, to the campaign, um, to spread awareness about mental health and what it really means. And I mean, every donation saves a life. So that's what we're here for at the end of the day. I mean, I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it for him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that was the big announcement. Wasn't really big, but this just was something I felt that was important
Yeah,
for everyone to kind of hear.
which is awesome, dude. I'm excited to watch it. I'm super excited. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go and make a donation.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, maybe I'll even start a fund on my own page. Who knows? But I just want to say that that's awesome and
Mm-hmm.
really
Thank you.
exciting. Because I think it's something that everyone can relate to one way or another,
Mm-hmm.
either directly or indirectly. We've all been affected. So this is really cool, really awesome,
I
dude.
mean, mental health matters. saving a life matters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just something small.
Like, yeah.
But it's
everything adds up.
I think in life we all live a bigger purpose, and I feel like this is one of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has different purposes in their life. There's 3 or 4 in your life that you don't know until you come across it. And I feel like this is one of them.
You've been given a platform, and you've been given the opportunity to do something that
Mm-hmm.
will positively impact a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people. And I think at the end of the day, athlete, non-athlete, we're all called for something higher. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's something that we have the ability to transform with our lives. And if we can positively impact as many people as possible in our lives, then it's all about, man.
Mm-hmm.
Then we did something right.
Yeah.
Or the people around us did something right.
Yeah. I'm glad we talked about this. For me, it was much needed.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
And I feel like for the people listening, I feel like it gives them a better insight of what our reality is.
Yeah.
And how to navigate that reality. Pretty deep conversation here. But I think it was, that's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Anything can be talked about, but I feel like going into the season, we got Lax starting the season up. We got, everybody's across the country starting the season up.
Golf, track, cross country, all these sports.
I feel like this is just needs to be prevalent, no matter how small the account is, no matter how small the channel is, no matter how, but when it hits the right person, that's when it can expand.
You can affect one life. You did something.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess with all this, if you're still watching, if you're still listening, thank you. Means a lot. We're just happy to be able to talk with one another, have these conversations,
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully say something that will stick with you and that you can pass on to someone else. If you liked it or you think somebody else should hear it, definitely subscribe, follow, post on your story, post on your Instagram, do whatever, get the word out. Because, shoot, we'll be here every week, whether we know
whether we want it or not,
or whatnot. Yeah, if we can figure it
happen.
Out. So yeah, and I think next week we're gonna have a guest on.
We're gonna
kind of change up topics. We're gonna switch those up.
We're gonna make it fun.
Hopefully, we like being fun too.
And I think in the near future we could take this on the road. Yes,
one of our goals is to be able to do this when we go to California,
mm-hmm.
when we go to Louisiana, when we go to Arizona. So we're trying to get a better setup. It takes time. If you'd like him to make a donation towards that, hit us up. We'll leave our contact information down below. We'll leave the link to his donations.
Yeah, the link will be
below.
The link will be in my Instagram bio. It'll be in my Twitter. It'll be in the comment section of this video. But whether you want to support it or not, it's up to you. But at the end of the day, even if you talk about it to somebody, or even if you follow it, I don't really care. I care, but it's up to you, and it's your choice. So you do what you want with it. But I know I'm all in.
Jack, thank you for FaceTiming us right now. We're gonna wrap this up. So thank y'all for watching and listening, and we'll be back next week. So hopefully with a series sweep, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Only time will tell.
All right. See you guys next week. Bye.